A very, very warm, good evening on this Sunday evening. It's August the 24th, 2025. It's another live show here on Arunfoot on my YouTube channel. My name is Arun Chaudhary. Welcome back to the channel. And let's once more discuss the latest happenings in Indian football and the things that could happen in the coming week, because yes, the future of Indian football is at stake next week. So we'll have to wait and see what happens actually factually. And it's going to be interesting to see what is done to safeguard the interest of the game overall. And let me, as always, hear your thoughts, your queries, questions. I try and answer them as honestly as I can. And at the start of the video, of course, also like, share, and subscribe arunfoot here on YouTube. Visit my other social medias, visit arunfoot.com. So therefore, for me, welcome as always. Starting off at this moment in time, yes, we are talking about the current situation as we have a very tricky surroundings, I would say, given the circumstances of the Supreme Court calling on the AIFF as well as FSTL Reliance to come together, have a conversation and figure out what could be the outcome of this whole case. Because at the end of the day, I guess we are talking about, on one side, what is the federation willing to do in regard to its top league? What is also on the other side the marketing partner in regard to FSTL? What are they willing to do to come together and try and find somewhat of a solution in this matter? And I think that's going to be the big talking point, in my opinion. Can they tomorrow, when Reliance and meet, and therefore that's going to be, I think very, very interesting. What happens now? In the meanwhile, I'm speaking a little slowly because I've just been trying to read up something. Hi, Devojyoti, welcome. Something in regard to a letter which has now been sent by I-League clubs, which does not feature, and I quote, Inter Kashi Churchill Brothers as well as Sporting Bangalore and Delhi FC. So the 10 I-League clubs, and it's going to be interesting what is going to happen. The clubs are, as per the reports, Aizawl FC, Namdar FC, Rajasthan United, Dempo Sports Club, Gokulam Kerala FC, Real Kashmir FC, Srinidhi Deccan FC, Shillong Lajong FC, as well as the promoted Diamond Harbour FC and Chanmari FC, which means that I-League letter does not contain Inter Kashi, who are supposedly champions of the I-League. Churchill Brothers, we don't know what their status is. And the two relegated teams. The two promoted teams are part of it. The two relegated aren't. SC Bangalore and Delhi FC, and they are putting forth, as per their letter, and I quote, we will mention that we are not parties before the Honorable Supreme Court in this ongoing litigation, but remain acutely affected by it. And this has been written to the amicus, Senior Advocate Gopal Sankaranayan and Advocate Samir Bansal. We request you consider putting forth a point of view before the Honorable Supreme Court in the same matter as you have done on 22nd of August 2011 on behalf of the ISA clubs. As things stands, the AIFF's inability to sign a master's rights agreement with FSTL has led to a virtual suspension of all leagues below FSTL as well. What is the issue? The current MI runs between AIFF and FSTL, and due to the pending court case, the undersigned clubs have not received any engagement from the AIFF. This information asymmetry is creating significant difficulties, which include but are not limited to the playing calendar, fixture finalization, venue confirmation, broadcasting, production costs, sports investments, club entry fees, subsidy structures, budget provisioning, prize money structure and league composition. And secondly, they warned that the ISL might become a closed league again, right? As per the original draft, you know, and it must be recalled that the AFC roadmap jointly finalized with the AIFF clearly envisaged implementation of a promotion relegation system between the Indian Super League and the I-League. Any deviation from this agreed framework would risk turning the ISL into a closed league contrary to the principles of fair competition. The absence of a merit-based pathway for I-League clubs to achieve promotion into the ISL would not only undermine the competitive spirit of the football pyramid in India, but also demotivate I-League clubs from further investment and professional development. Okay, we may urge that the matter is time sensitive and the livelihood of hundreds of players, thousands of supporters, not to mention lakhs of football fans, shall be impacted by these proceedings. And again, this makes it even more complicated than the situation is already, right? So we are in a situation where everyone is fighting by themselves, for themselves. So therefore, let's wait and see what happens, right? And I'm not sure, Congrats, Chobe, Congress AIFF ban 2.0 coming in for let's lay more as FIFA's coming with ban. More for AIFF, sorry for AIFF, sorry for Indian football team fans. You're most disgusted in world and best RIP Indian football. I wouldn't agree to that. You know why I would not agree to what you're saying? Very, very simply is that the situation is very complex. It's very, very complicated. A lot of people are trying to figure out what to do, not to do, how to do. And to me, the biggest problem at the moment with this whole khichdi is, yes, the AIFF has to take a certain percentage of blame, the Supreme Court, surely. I mean, if anybody listened to that hearing, will be shocked to have heard what they heard in the Supreme Court. And now, the clubs are waking up one after the other. The ISL clubs are in their own league. The I-League clubs are in their own league. Interestingly is that they've sidelined certain entities who have been part of litigation, other things. So therefore, let's wait and see. So why are the I-League clubs so tempted to delay the Supreme Court case? Can get FIFA ban also, I guess. They want to go in heavy debt like Mohammed Sporting. Newton Chacha, there are two things by coming to ISL. There are two things. First of all, as we've seen with the ISL clubs woke up very late, right? Let's be honest about that. The ISL clubs woke up very late because they realized at some stage, oops, what's happening? We need to act because otherwise the system will sort of not survive. That's the reality of the situation. We then saw the I-League teams. And I said this in the last 2-3 weeks. I think the I-League teams are not realizing in what situation they are in, because if there is no ISL, if the AIFF doesn't get money from Reliance, there is no top tier league, right? So to me, that is the conversation. The weight of the conversation, the difficulty in the conversation is, how do we do this in the best possible way? And if you are financially not stable enough to be playing ISL, and this I've said before, even the promotion process came in, then the ISL needs to tell you, sorry, you are not financially stable enough or eligible to play. And Mohammed Sporting, to me, is the perfect example of the story. It's just terrible to see. India 70 will easily qualify for Asian Cup, also easy group with Uzbek and Kyrgyzstan. Oh God, Tejas, where do you get that from? Good evening, Siddharth. Welcome back. On how what we discussed about the sting operation of Care now have been proven right that there is biasness in selection since Chobe took office, was a Bengali player. Why is he not in the squad? Also, have officials have been trying to make sure that coaches choose only more women players. Aditya, there is nothing to discuss. People like you need to understand what is important to discuss, what is unimportant to discuss. Okay, KL now broke a story. Interesting. Are you surprised? I mean, I know from multiple AIFF officials over the years who told the coaches, "Oh, you should pick this player, you should pick that player." Even I have told coaches that they should pick certain players and that certain players do not deserve to wear the Indian shirt. When I've had good relationships with the national coach, it is for the coach to decide on the player. So what's the story? What's your outrage on? What's your problem? I ask you this problem thing because there is no issue. This is a superficial issue where the fans should be focusing on one thing only, and that is the future of Indian football. And the fans about, oh, Durand Cup, oh, transfers. Oh, there's a scandal. The coaches were thrown out this. Give me a break, guys. Seriously, give me a break. And what am I going to say? That Kalyan said that? Listen, Kalyan Chaube is the president of the AIFF. So he has something to say in the federation, right? Ochut, your 17 girls are playing nice and soft. Your 70 well, the opponents are not that strong. That's the thing, Ochut. They're doing well. So let them settle down and let's wait and see what they're able to do. Right? This is good. It's high time FIFA must ban us. The attitude of AIFF and stakeholders above football right now. So that is the point that you're saying. What I've said a few weeks ago, and I would say it again and again, was probably looking at the situation. That within India, I think the solution, there will be no solution. I don't see that happening given the realities of things at the moment, given the realities of things within Indian football, right? So for me, if I want a solution of some sort, it's not going to work. I say clubs don't want to play in poorly managed I-League and destroy investments done by us. I say franchise clubs over past 11 years. Yeah. Newton Chacha, I would say that the pyramid structure has failed. Let's be honest. Let's talk about that, right? If you say, I-League clubs want to play ISL, okay, fine. Then give me a real guarantee, not a fake guarantee that like Mohammedan Sporting, or no guarantee like Mohammedan Sporting. Punjab FC have had the pockets. They can do it. Inter Kashi can do it. Gugulam Kerala can do it. Srinidhi Deccan can do it. And then it gets tight. So are we going to allow clubs? And this is the problem of do not compare a league to the leagues which have evolved on merit over decades, over more than a century. We cannot compare the Indian football pyramid structure. It's a problem. And you realize, very important point that Siddharth mentioned, the so-called stakeholders. They're all sleeping, right? They have been sleeping. They woke up. And one by one is realizing, oh my God, what's happening? The clubs were the first. Then the players and people working in the clubs woke up. Now the I-League is waking up. Realizing like last year, around this time, the I-League 3 was happening, right? Let me just check once. When was the I-League 3 in the calendar last year? Right? Let me just check once, because if I don't know, I don't want to say something wrong. 3rd September to 6th October was the time in which I-League 3 was played across India, right? You had the 5 groups across India, and then in Bengal, the 2 playoffs, and the playoffs again. Diamond Harbour won cleanly Group A with 4 wins, and Chanmari won Group B with 4 wins. That's the reality of things, right? So therefore, for me, everyone is waking up one by one and realizing that this is the reality. How come AIFF and Reliance will decide stuff in 2 days what they talking? It is Sunday evening in India, right? It is, as we speak, 10:18, right? PM. Sorry. Um, the challenge here is, how can you do something which you have not been able to do in the last 10, 11 months? You know, and the question here is now, what can you do to rectify those things? So therefore, yeah, that's the problem. So we'll have to see. U20 player, Sir Harijan, yeah, Abhijit, good for him that he's made it. You know, let's see what he can do. That's a step up for the world. Come on, Runda, you have to look into this. They did not just recommend players, but forced it on the truth. The federation gave priority to one state and a club. This is not sufficient. Oh, Ditya, come on. This is, you know, on one side, you always trying to be like, oh, I know my things, this, that, and I know, oh, Odisha FC, this, that. And when I told you, listen, Odisha FC is most probably the first club to fold, you didn't want to believe it and said I was lying and all that stuff. You want to believe in all of this. This is a non-starter of a story. The coach decides. Manolo Marquez will not take a player because Kalyan Chaub has told him, oh, you have to take this player, that player. Right? This is, if you start believing all of that, then you've got a problem, So therefore, yeah, nothing much to say. After this much blunder, AIFF is just issuing statements on social media. They're not doing anything apart from this. So that because there is nothing else to do, So therefore, yeah. Anywhere else, I would have said, you know what you've been doing wrong. Show a little bit of decency, and decency for me would be making introspection, realizing what you've done wrong, and in this case, I would have said resign. Right? That's the only option that I see. To me, that is the only option that I would have said would be right. But hey, who's doing an introspection, right? The solution is to improve I-League, which AIFF failed to do over the years. Polish, I think to say that they didn't improve the I-League over the years would be wrong. I think that the AIFF, the old AIFF, and especially under Shunanda Dhor as the league CEO, did a few things to improve the I-League. I think the I-League has learned quite a few things over the years from the ISL as well. But over the last couple of years, it's just been, hey, listen, let's try and hold the league. Let's do the league and ensure that the league is running. And that is, I think, the biggest danger that we find ourselves in, that at this moment in time, the ISL is in no state to be organized, and somehow it's still alive. And I think that's the biggest positive at this moment in time, that the ISL is still there, and the I-League as well. But again, the AIFF, if things are not sorted, yeah, let's see. Wasn't ISL created because I-League refused to be improved and didn't even let Reliance touch their wicket, rock and bottom to top structure? Yeah, Aditya. It was discussed, but it wasn't taken at the time. Musabai and Harry doing joint stream. You also do stream with Harry. Nice to see such good interaction bonding between Sodibhai, you, Harry, Ashish sir, and Playmake India Filming Football. Thanks. We try and do that. That is, you think they might extend the current deal up to 2027? No, Palash. I think, as I said in today's video, which I did yesterday, right, where I asked the question, can the AIFF and AIFF still find a solution? See that video. right? Where I talk about this point, where I feel there are 2, 3 things which we need to look at, which are very, very crucial in this whole conversation. The challenge here is, how do you find a solution for this season? And what is a solution at least for the midterm? You know, you know. So let's see. Argentina officially confirms matching Carol on November. And Bablu's animation, I'm a little surprised because what I'd heard out of Argentina and that Scaloni was not, didn't want to play in Asia. But let's see what the Argentinian FA do, because I don't know if they were put under pressure because suddenly Messi is supposed to come in December and all that kind of stuff. Let's see. 5-6 Iraq versus India, we're going to be humble prepared. It's Iran. Shanlata, it's Iran. In the first place, Kalyan shouldn't have been president of AIFF. President should have been a purely football playing man like Baichung Bhutia. No. Ellis Cinematics, I don't agree on that as much as I respect Baichung and have a lot of, so therefore, I need someone, the football part of it, so yeah. That's the group. ACU 17 women's team were in pot 1 and got Uzbekistan players. Yeah, they just, let's wait and see. The women under 17 are doing very well in the SAF at the moment, but at least Uzbekistan is going to be something else. Is there a press association? I said, no, there is no association for the ISL, but there is a players association in India called the Football Players Association of India, FPI. Nations Cup. Listen, before we talk about CAFA Nations Cup, we have to talk about everything else that's happening in Indian football. Fine, I guess, but I've been suspecting this comes out nowhere. Where to from Kiran's team? Listen, again, if that is something that if that's your problem, Aditya, if that is at the moment, seriously, if that is your biggest problem at the moment with everything that's being done, everything is happening, then you have a problem, my friend. You seriously have a problem. Focus on the issue of what we need to talk about, right? Everybody needs to focus. Dada, when will we get banned? God bless. Please FIFA ban us. Sure, I don't know, but the coming week is going to be very, very interesting. Let me remind everyone the reason we got into this mess because FIFA banned us, that too on 15th August. No, Aditya, we were not, the ban was not the outcome of things. The outcome of the ban was that the court case that is still happening in the Supreme Court was started in 2017. That's the real problem in this whole discussion. It is not the FIFA ban. The FIFA ban was an outcome of that problem. One best solution: revamp Indian football structure with proper season calendar, proper preseason calendar, etc., with promotion relegation system to increase competition, but nobody going to do it. Newton Chacha, the football ecosystem is not dependent on promotional relegation. I mean, anyone who says that doesn't understand football. Sorry. It has to be understood that people who will invest, if you say you are part of the Indian Super League and then you say, oh, you're going to go down to the ISL, from the ISL to the I League, that's not going to work. If you ask me, I don't think that a lot of people will say that I'm fine with it, right? So therefore, for me, promotion relegation is not your starting and end point of it. I need investment from people and willing to put in investments. We have people who've lost up to 400 crores over the last 11 years. We have a Reliance which has lost over 3,000 crores, right? The people in the I League also have lost money, but they've lost nowhere near that amount of money. So therefore, for me, that is going to be that is going to be the question. Where are we going with that, right? And yeah, let's see. Sorry, can AIFF and FSL break a deal in short-term amount of time, which is the ideal solution according to Jyotirmoy? The problem is a short-term solution is not going to do. Will Reliance agree to a short-term 1-year solution or even 6-month solution? Will the clubs agree? If let's say you are the owner of a club, you know, if you're the owner of a club and you're saying, oh, you know what, we will find a solution, but we haven't found something, but we're working towards it, and yeah, and we will figure it out in a way or another, but you need to spend 20-25 crores on the season. Let's see, but yeah, we'll find a solution. Would you invest into that? Simple. So therefore, you need to present an at least a midterm plan, some sort of mistake. So I was talking about U23 versus Iraq. Okay. Same thing as with the seniors. Wasn't Kalyan literally the goalkeeper of East Bengal? Aditya was called to East Bengal. He was at Mohun Bagan earlier. He was even at Salgaonkar. Bring an individual to be president in AIFF who can deliver results, not promises. Newton Chacha, yes, not. But again, I don't even need an individual to bring results. I need an individual who can macro manage the thing, has the right people to manage the AIFF, to run the AIFF, and has the right relationships. That is what is needed at this moment in time, in my opinion. Nothing else, nothing more, nothing less. Do you think at least one Indian footballer did an MBA after? Rohit, I don't know. I wouldn't know any Indian footballer who's done a sort of a sports MBA. 20th August, Supreme Court next hearing happens on September. AIFF is there another team meeting over there, thing except Indian football. Again, the point is not AIFF, FSDL, it's the Supreme Court, which the Supreme Court needs to make. If the Supreme Court has the constitution ready and puts the constitution into the market, so to say, and then says, okay, guys, hold elections, and then the new AIFF could have negotiated something or the other, then we would be further down the road. I don't know where we are at this moment. At this moment, our biggest problem is we are somewhere in between. The Supreme Court, rather than hearing the case which they were supposed to hear on Friday, heard the MRA, which is not even part of the case per se, if I understand right. But they made it part of the case because they stopped the MRA negotiations. So my point is at the end of the day is like, what are we talking? Right? Because the problem is, with all due respect to the panel of the Supreme Court, to the lawyers who are sitting over there, it is not your discussion to have to decide on the constitution and the future of Indian football. Let it be done by governance experts. As long as this doesn't happen, so let's see. What's your general solution to this mess in football? Any cinematic, as I say, first of all, the Supreme Court needs to, the amicus cannot be a former lawyer or a judge or whatever, right? The amicus should have been someone with football governance experience, right? Second point is, this could have been sorted way back, because why didn't you go to FIFA and discuss with FIFA the right steps forward? FIFA would have told you what kind of a constitution works, and then you would have worked in the so-called sports bill, right? The National Sports Governance Bill. So all of these things, in some sort of way, and let's see what they do. But there is no easy solution. There will be a give and take, but people need to understand that what is more important for the whole ecosystem of Indian football. Hypothetical solution: if you were AIFF business currency now, would you have dealt with FSL for MRA? There is no easy solution. As I say, you have to figure out what is Reliance willing to do, right? You have to understand that their losses are the biggest of all. I need to understand that I've been living off money, which wasn't questioned in regard to what am I doing, how I'm spending, and I've increased my budgets over the years. So therefore, those are the basic things. Can you find a solution in this short of time? I think, yes, you can. But the question is that I would have to convince people, at least in the next 3 to 5 years, if I can convince people that people would be losing 3 to 5,000 crores in total as a group. clubs, the league, and maybe even add the I-League on top of that. Revamp is revamp that I really think we cannot revamp anything in India. Things can go from top to bottom, not traditional bottom to top, since bottom is too corrupt. Aditya, yeah, but the revamp, what's the revamp? The revamp to me is, and what I've also learned, my thing is, I think the international bodies, AFC and FIFA, need to step in. If I like it or not, I think that to me is something which I feel is the most likely solution in this whole scenario, is that FIFA and AFC step in and they try and change things into the right direction, because otherwise internally I think it's not going to happen. And it's like, the roadmap which was created, FIFA banning India. I mean, the last few times that something fundamental was changed was because of international involvement. Why everyone is choosing their own interest, not thinking about country? Now I hear that that the club is going to file a petition about promotion relegation. Because as you correctly say, every single group is thinking about themselves. And there has never been, I would have called a meeting of, if I was the AIFF, I would have called a meeting with Reliance, FSDL, representatives of the ISL clubs, representatives of the I-League clubs, the Players Union, even IWL, to bring on board on that, and then discuss, guys, how do we move in the right direction? That's the challenge. That's the whole challenge in this whole conversation, right? We need to understand of where are we, what do we need to do, and what do we need to change. That's the challenge. MBA has to do nothing with leadership. It's all about will, strategies, and connections. We must learn this from Vietnam football. So that also knowledge. You're forgetting the knowledge part. And a sports MBA gives you certain tools of how to work on things, right? And that is, to me, is one thing which is clearly missing at the moment in our system, is clearly that we don't have the right people to run the system. So for me, the biggest problem at this moment in time is that we are, fighting for the whole scenario. But yeah, it's not easy, and I don't know. It's something needs to happen. But are we willing? Are we ready to do stuff? And yeah, that's going to be very interesting to see what happens down the road, right? So therefore, for me, it's not things are not a given. Let's put it this way. Do you think final verdict will come even by September? No. I honestly don't know. Some people tell me, oh, you know what, the final decision will come Thursday. It's ready. I said, okay, what is ready? So I have no idea, right? I know that there are forces within the system who are trying to delay it as much as possible, right? That is a fact. Let's wait and see where we go. I'm tired of these meeting stuff. Also, anyone who is fighting against the temporary agreement of AIFF and the Supreme Court, making sure they do not do it, are enemies of state. Yeah, but Aditya, that's been done, right? That's been done. That's been happening. And then people are tweeting about those things. Nobody's understanding that the main case is related to the AIFF draft constitution, not about promotion, relegation, or MRA between AIFF and FSA. Everyone is just shaking their hand. Yeah. My niece prepared for law exam of India, and I showed him SC hearing live. He was so interested, thanks to Indian football. Yeah, but again, the legal system clearly, to me, has just shown that that to me, even the sports tribunal is a question mark. Theoretically, it's the right step, but who will be the sports tribunal? It will be former judges and justices of the Supreme Court and the High Courts. So this tamasha which we're seeing in the Supreme Court will only shift from the Supreme Court to the sports tribunal. That is my concern. Looking at things, I'm curious whether we will have ISL this season. Court in India take time for giving judgment. Manju, at the moment, having an ISL is more of a positive surprise than of not happening. That is my honest fear at the moment. The whole Durand Cup felt like the term grandeur of delusion, where we are on the tip of a crisis, where we decide to load ourselves in so-called competitions like Durand Cup. I used so-called. No competition is bigger than Indian football. Yeah, I think that's very, very right. That is a very, 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 very key point that you mentioned. And I've said this at the start of the Durand Cup. I remember that a short clip of mine from one of my lives was being passed around when I said the Durand Cup doesn't need to be played or isn't important. And I still stick to that. So, yeah. So therefore, for me, but we're not moving in the right direction, right? Imagine if negotiations between AIFF still is failed, then what next? That's a reality. That's a possibility. Reliance might say, you know what? We are pulling out, you do a new tender. Thank you very much. And then the whole thing collapses like this, right? Be ready for it. I said this. This is a realistic opportunity of chance that people need to recognize that if this doesn't happen, there is no solution to this, then we are in the worst case scenario. Then implosion, right? Hi Zoravar, welcome back. Looks like the double loss for Mohun did more harm than good. Mohun Bagan going to release players for national team. Mohun Bagan fans going ballistic over management. Vinay Chopra out was being trended by Mohun Bagan fans after Derby. Yeah, but Zoravar, what's happened? I mean, my question to is great that Mohun Bagan fans suddenly realize that they have a management problem, which they've had now for a while, for decades actually. But the players release thing is a joke, really, because I thought even for Mohun Bagan it would be good if their players get some game time, and some surely would have gotten game time in the CAFA Nations Cup or in the under-23. Now they are in the market, desperate to try and sign players. Signing Mehtab Singh, I think I look at it from Mumbai City's perspective. At the moment, there is no ISL. You were thinking of giving the player a long-term contract, which you're not willing to give as long as things are not sorted. The player does know Mohun Bagan is willing to give him a long-term contract, pay you a solid transfer fee. I say Mumbai City did everything right from their perspective. And that raises more questions about Mohun Bagan, right? Looks like nobody has proper knowledge about football in the courtroom. That is the main problem. Yeah, that's one, but it's not only the courtroom. The one thing is what I've realized over the last week, there are very, very good people still within Indian football, right? Who is the leader who can bring all these people together and work towards saving the future of Indian football? Very simple, and to me, who is going to be the leader, who can get at least part of the stakeholders together to run us into a certain direction. That's the challenge at the moment, right? To me, that's the big challenge for the AIFF. Not for the AIFF, but the AIFF, the stakeholders, the future, right? So therefore, very interesting scenario, right? Therefore, we'll have to wait and see. All right, nearly 40 minutes. I haven't spoken about liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. 9 likes so far. I think we can do much, much better. We're still in the 2,830s. Seem to be going up and down, as I've told you in the last few weeks. I need your support, guys, to grow this channel even further. Do watch the short videos. As I said, did something on the on what could be the solution earlier yesterday, that the Supreme Court spoke about things, stakeholders need to wake up for the future of Indian football, what's going to happen in Supreme Court or not. CR7, Goa, Khalid Jamil. So a lot of videos to watch, and thanks as always for your support. I had a doubt that things will change even in 2026. I really doubt. Sometimes I feel I stand separated on issues against my own countrymen. I don't know why. Maybe then my consciousness or my knowledge and maturity on things like these. Aditya, if that's the case, great. But you've also proven that on certain things, you are running after things which, in my opinion, make no sense, right? This whole, this, that, everything. Nice. Because you think you know things which you can't know because you don't know enough to be able to know. And it speaks for everybody. So, with all due respect, guys, you cannot know what's happening in the background. Who are trying to do what? And again, I know if I could just speak an hour of what I know, atom bomb. But hey, let's see. Mohammad Supergiant, this would need a foreign CDM. That's the Achilles heel. Yeah, that's one of the Achilles heels. And I don't know if, at least I know from some of the players that they are not in a state of mind to play football. Given the scenario of Indian football, I know that there are a lot of players across teams, across clubs who are at this moment in time worried about the future. And that is understandable, right? And that's a real problem at the moment. So therefore, let's wait and see. From national pride of India to national shame of India, story of Mohun Bagan. Yeah, I wouldn't say that they're national shame, but there are certain things which have not gone right. Some person's personal agenda is destroying Indian football. I'm not a fan of Mr. Bajaj and his company. Speaks for you. So I've seen a lot of people mocking Ranju Bajaj. Has he done anything wrong in past? Don't know if it's some reasonable thing. I don't know, or just a bad nature of people. He's done a lot of things wrong, right? And yeah, the less I speak, the better, because it's a waste of time. These people should not be getting the time that they serve. They're creating problems. Molina wasn't happy with the squad post Derby. I think Zoravar Molina has not been really happy with the overall squad even last year, and he got the most out of it, and you have to give him the respect. But he wasn't happy because I think he thinks that the foreigners are not balanced. Therefore, yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem that he's faced. And to me, I think that's the challenge at this moment in time, and trying to figure out how can you rectify those mistakes in your squad. Of course, he would like to have a foreign CDM. I think that makes life easier for him. But also with the Indian players, Mehta being signed is a good signing. I don't know what you want to use him as. If you've got Aldred and Alberto in there, but again, for Mehta, I feel it's right, without knowing if Mumbai City is going to be there in the summer, that you go somewhere who's offering a lot of money. So let's see. Seeing Diego Mauricio in some green shirt with some admin writing Mauricio's one of the green, it really hurts. It's the same guy who refused contract from East Bengal, Bangalore FC just to stay in OFC. It really hurts seeing him gone. It really is. Yeah, but Aditya, that's football, right? Players come, players go. I mean, he even spent a very successful season with Mumbai City. So players come and players go. That's the reality. What has he done? Because I don't know about his past. Just Google his name. You will find a lot of things. As a leader, he has a vision, but Nan's vision is totally failed, man. He doesn't have a vision. What is the vision? Right? That's the problem. There is no vision behind it. It's fooling people, it's scamming people, nothing else. There's no vision behind all of that. They need to let go of Petratos. He's a washed player taking up foreign slotted money. That's rather maybe. To me, they need to figure out what they want and how they want it. Let's see. So if the Supreme Court gives verdict on 20th, then also ban, or we have a chance? It depends on what verdict, right? What verdict? What's the constitution? Is the constitution fine with football regulations of FIFA and AFC? Simple question. So for me, it's yeah, it's a very clear thing that we need to look at what is possible, what is not possible. So therefore, for me, I'd say, yeah, it's going to be very, 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 very interesting where we're going with that. But to me, I'm not sure. As I've told you, if anyone is able to tell you what's going to happen on the 28th, then he or she knows a lot. Because to me, very, very clearly, I have no clear understanding of how this is going to work or not. Right? So therefore, for me, very difficult to say. Yeah, please. Having vision is easy, but working for the vision is different. So, vision is not our problem. Vision is always you can have a vision, you can have an outlook for the mid to long term. You know, you know. So therefore, yeah, implementation, realistic approach is more important than vision. I know a club is always bigger than a player, but to me, yeah, I don't know. When it comes to Marissa, I'd even go ahead and say if he wouldn't be there, Lovera was done in 24 season. Yeah. Heard the Constitution Sportsville is views. I see too. No. The sportsman has nothing to do with FIFA and AFC in that. There is a clause which says, that the sporting law of the international body is over whatever the national law is, but I would like to see the implementation. Again, because the Supreme Court is going to be replaced by the sports tribunal, right? A sports tribunal will look into and discuss football matters in the future, right? But are they going to be right? Are they going to be wrong? That is the point. That's the question. Why do you think Petratos degraded so much after 2 good seasons? And my opinion is due to the quality of the league is quality grade as well. Zoravar, I cannot give you a clear-cut answer on that because for that, again, I've seen the matches. I've not seen him in training. One thing is surely that McLaren and Cummings are better players than him. Let's be very, very clear. But Dimi Petratos is one of those guys. It's not just the player as a player, but the attitude, the willingness to win, to also the social things that he's done in Kolkata, going around playing those with the street kids football and all that stuff, makes him a very special player in my opinion, right? And those are the ones that we need as foreigners in Indian football. We need such legends in Indian football. But yeah, maybe he peaked at the wrong time, in the sense, and then you had two players who came in, and yeah, it hasn't worked. So that's the reality, right? Sorry. Also the Moroccan maestro Amaja, who joined the third division Moroccan club, also taking coaching classes. I should be angry on him, but again, I knew something was off between him and Lovera. Again, Aditya, yeah, he was with Lovera in Goa, he was with Lovera in Mumbai, and now he was with Odisha. His time was up anyway, but again, he's been a legend of the league. Let's be clear about it. Hey Raj, welcome back. No problem joining late. If you want to hear what we've been speaking earlier on, listen to that as well. If the league happens, promotion team from I-Leagues are a headache. I think they're financially not meeting ISL standards. Example one is sporting. Yeah, so that's also a point. That is a key point that nobody wants to discuss. Therefore, if you ask me, and I've said this now multiple times, cut the league down to 10 teams, run it as a closed league, at least for a 3 to 5 year period, and then stabilize the I-League below it, and then try to bridge that gap. And you have to, there's sporting merit, but there's also financial merit, right? So if you can't fulfill certain criteria, you cannot play an higher level league. And that happens in other parts of the world as well. It's not an Indian problem as well. I want to bring this funny conversation. Everyone used to say that us as low quality foreigners, just like Indian players, they cannot go out. Aditya, they have come from somewhere, right? So therefore, they can't be that bad. But the point is with these players, yeah, we've had some very good players over the years, surely. But at the moment is the players are spoiled. If you've played 2 years India, what's the quality that you have, right? Are you good enough to go and play elsewhere? Simple. And therefore, yeah, let's wait and see if we find the solution. Sorry, if we find the necessary solutions which are needed. From being a star for Mohammad Supergiant to being a sub, though with Mehta, a centre back, probably he may get more game time. Is it? I think Mohun Bagan, if Mohun Bagan don't bring a defensive midfielder, then they're not playing with Mehta plus Alberto or Tom. I don't see it happening. I think Mehta might even be an option as a right back, or even a left back, worst case. But now, since everyone is leaving, all the people are crying about foreigners leaving India. Aditya, that was bound to happen. Again, if anybody thought that the players will not leave, right? For them, it's about a livelihood. This is not just, oh, you know what, this and that. And again, when a player says, oh, I love this place, oh, I love this, I love that, in 90% of the cases, even maybe 95% of the cases, they just say it for the sake of saying it, right? So for me, so therefore, yeah, let's wait and see what happens, right? Mehta was not replacing Aussie defender. Let's see. And he doesn't have Aussie defenders. They have an Aussie and a Spaniard, Aditya. Just 1 week left for transfer window. What will foreigners do? Raj, I think that foreigners will start to leave, as we've seen in the case of some, but we'll have more and more foreigners leaving India. That is surely to happen. So therefore, for me, I think we'll have quite a few announcements over the week. I had AIFF and FSL sitting tomorrow for conversation. AIFF and Reliance Saza are sitting tomorrow. Yes, they're sitting down in Bangalore. Mohun Bagan needs a playmaker like Johnny Kauko. Yeah, Raj, Johnny Kauko to me is not a playmaker. He's more of a defensive midfielder who filled in as a makeshift, 8, 10, whatever you want to do it. But they need a foreign defensive midfielder to support Apuya. Very, very surely. Zorawa says Kantirava Stadium got rejected for India versus Singapore match due to poor pitch. Such is the state of Indian football. Zorawa, and again, I was surprised that it was the pitch because even the stands are not in the best of shape. I remember 2 years ago, SAF Cup semi-final and final, that stadium is sadly in shambles, right? It is a great venue and I've had great memories. I mean, I've watched 3 India matches over there. I've never lost a game. So I think that I would say is a success in itself. But the question at the end of the day is where do we go? And therefore that's it. Now looking at alternatives, looking at options. It will be very interesting to see which stadium, which venue, So that's going to be an interesting thing to follow. What's the difference between Reliance and FSL? Are they different? No, they're not. Zada, FSDL is a Reliance company. So Football Sports Development Private Limited, so Football Sports Development Limited is a Reliance company. So it's a Reliance owned. Heard that many ISL franchises are planning to shut down if the MRA meeting between AIFF and FSL fail tomorrow. Zorawa, yeah, that's who's going to shut? I mean, we've got 7, 8 teams, so to say, who are in hibernation, who are in a sleeping mode. The only 2 teams which will be really in action are Mohun Bagan and FC Goa because they've got continental competitions, right? Even though, there was even the rumor that these 2 teams might face a problem if the meeting goes bad. So therefore, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But to me, very, very clearly, at this moment in time, it's going to be very, very interesting to see if the things go the way that we are expected them to go. Right? So, yeah, that would be difficult, tough as well. Yesterday, East Bengal is mocking down. We're saying Bhaipo lost. Raj, I have really a lot of questions for East Bengal fans. If next time I meet a lot of them, we sold our match to Diamond Harbour, this, that, everything. Diamond Harbour is an I-League team, right? On a good day, they might challenge, they might even beat an ISL team. Happened against East Bengal in the semis. On a good day of an ISL team, right? Can score 5-6 against them, which Mohun Bagan and Northeast United did. So therefore, I know a lot love these conspiracies and this and that and everything, but in my opinion, it's of no value, right? To me, very, very clearly, Diamond Hammer FC reaching the final is a great achievement, but nothing more, nothing less. I mean, if it was a proper pre-season for an ISL season, Diamond Hammer FC would have never reached the final. But that's a side story. On the other side, nearly 10 cricket stadiums are under construction with 100,000 plus capacities. However, that's the reality. Bangalore, 2 stadiums, one multi-purpose in the Sri Kantirava, literally falling apart. I mean, I really looked down when you were in the view area, and if you go on the upper stand, no. And again, you've seen footage of the Bangalore football stadium, even in the worst state. Indian football, and the infrastructure of Indian football is a problem. And who's investing, right? We talk, I laugh on East Bengal that they lost to Bhaipo. Okay, East Bengal fans are playing with fire. They don't realize that East Bengal existence will be at stake if they mock the management. However, forget that. They are mocking the ISL as well. So therefore, they don't realize where they are. If I'll be honest now, I really lost my interest in cricket, but just watching ISL, that's show how boring cricket is. Good for you, Aditya. Ironically, East Bengal is called the TMC Party Club. Isn't the problem with East Bengal, Mohun Bagan, Mohammedan, and some of the other teams as well that key officials have links to the party, right? Elsewhere, people have other links to other parties. So that's welcome to India, right? We said, we need someone politically connected at the AIFF at the helm. And that's another reality of things, that how India works in the year 2025. If Kantira was rejected, maybe Kalinga will be held. Aditya, if I'm right, I think the Nehru Stadium in Goa was being discussed, and I think another venue, I forgot which one. I don't know if it was it Kalinga, or was it, I think Shillong was the other one, if I'm not wrong. Sometimes I feel it's good that all this mess happened because it made us realize who we are and where we stand. Otherwise, we would have just continued playing ourselves, being happy for nothing. So I don't have a problem being happy for nothing, because the Indian Super League is a product which, I was there when it started off, when it kicked off, was even there a little bit at the planning stage earlier on. We could have done things differently, should have done most probably done differently, but it wasn't, right? So therefore, we are where we are today, and hoping that things will somewhat fall in place, right? So therefore, we are, as I say, we are where we are, and let's see. Let's just say ISL doesn't happen and I-League doesn't happen either. Where is East Bengal Mohun playing CFL? They're playing CFL, right? So therefore, they're playing with their reserve teams in the CFL. They don't realize that they're in the same boat as the rest. They're in the same boat as everybody else. Fun fact that majority of these cricket stadiums are being funded by state governments. Yeah, because they bother about it. Now, I've said to you guys, we don't care about football enough to be able to do things for football, right? That's my whole problem. That's my whole prerogative in this conversation. They don't care about football the way they should, or any other sport, right? I mean, the Bangalore, we're talking about the Kantirava Stadium, which is a multi-purpose venue. Sometimes I wonder was even a good thing. Aditya, good point. If you ask me today, it's something that needs to be discussed as part of the roadmap. Was it the right thing to do? Or should they have been kept in the I League and then they would have to fight their way up like any other team? It's a very valid point, which again, has there been a value of having those clubs in the ISL? It's a very good question. Do you consider the East Bengal win over Mohun and upset of East Bengal a better team overall given how they lost against Diamond FC, whom Mohun Super Giants destroyed by 5 goals? So however, you have to take each match by itself, right? East Bengal look better than Mohun Bagan. Mohun Bagan looks unprepared at the moment for whatever reason, and therefore for me, it it wasn't even an upset. It wasn't even a surprise. I thought East Bengal went after a long time. East Bengal went into a derby as favourites. A very good friend of mine who's a Mohun Bagan fan actually said that to me, that he thinks East Bengal are favourites in that game, going into that game. So therefore, for me, again, yes, those who watch football irregularly would say that, but yeah, that's the reality of things. Forget where we stand. If ISL doesn't happen, we'll simply collapse and go 15 years back. No, Aditya, we don't get back 15 years. We go back 30 years. If the ISL doesn't happen, that means also the I League will not happen. That means I League 2, I League 3 might not happen as well. Then we go back to 1995 when we didn't have any national level football competitions, right? So therefore, we need to be aware of these things. I had given upon Canada footy fans, they all live in delusional world. Someone told in the comment on a page that Argentina to counter Canada will give visibility to Canada football. Then I'm still not sure if that match is happening. I mean, supposedly people paid money, then other people didn't pay money. There's that, everything. It's, I don't even know, right? After East Bengal lost to Diamond, I was seeing Nituda smiling and people saying it was a fixed match. Raj, Nituda smiling, was it a smile or was it a sarcastic smile? Because he knew at that time, losing to Diamond Harbour FC, what kind of backlash he and his club would face from the fans, right? So it wasn't. It came according to the lines that I would have said it would. With such negligence, better to ban football in the country, withdraw yourself from FIFA, focus on other sports like badminton. So we're not going to withdraw, right? That withdrawal will not happen. I think a ban is possible. Let's see, and that's going to be interesting to see what happens. Again, the certain points have been mentioned now by FIFA and AFC, and therefore we'll have to wait and see what happens, right? Therefore, for me, yeah, it's how I League is connected to ISL and other things. Deepak, the ISL and I League. The ISL is top tier. The I League is the second tier, and then you've got I League 2, and then you've got I League 3. That's the connection. There's no direct connection in the other way between these leagues. What kind of meeting the AIFF and SA will have in Bangalore tomorrow? I don't know what kind. Discussion, negotiations, trying to figure out something. East Bengal fans celebrated, and this is again, focus on your own losses. I would always say, focus on your own losses, on your own wins. Don't bother about your opponents. It never works. Yeah. People are so delusional. People thinking Messi coming to Kerala gonna take Kerala to be like a Tehran, especially Malapur fans. They think they're the best in the world. Then welcome to the world of Indian football fans. That's sadly, if they really bothered about the things which are needed, I don't know. Hi Surya, I am doing fine. Good to see you back. An Indian player signed for Everton under 17. Your thoughts? Surya, did he sign for Everton? Again, it's a social media story. An Indian normally cannot sign for an English club at youth level. And even Sunil Chetri didn't get a work permit. How does a 17-year-old Indian get it? Either he has now a foreign passport of, I don't know, like Nile, who went from Mumbai City, who has a Canadian passport. then he has, I don't know, Canadian American passport. Otherwise, he will not be able to play over there. If he's an Indian, he will not be able to play over there. So therefore, it doesn't work. Why such hate for East Bengal? We've been called Bangladeshis lately. I understand it's a poorly run club, but why such disrespect for its supporters? Do people even understand the tragedy of partition? There are two things. I think East Bengal fans, to some extent, have to take a little bit of the blame themselves in the way they've been behaving over the last few years. East Bengal thinks that it's a big team, big club, which it on one side is, but on the other side, it's a big club in Indian football context, but it's a small team in the ISL. It's never made the ISL playoffs, right? And this hate against Bengalis, East Bengal was just the start. I think even Mohun Bagan, Mohammedan, Diamond Harbour, all of them will get that across India. It's a general thing. This was just the start. And this is the disrespect level is going to go to everybody. Just now, FC has rejected Goa, Shillong, and Kantinava. Okay. Let's see what they do. I feel democracy works best in the West, where people are more literate and have collective opinions. In India, with the majority still not literate, doesn't seem suitable. I don't know if that's the reason. Zaza, there are quite intelligent people, smart people in India as well. But in these kind of situations, the question is, can you get towards the right things? If Mohammed Supergiant need to prove something in ASA2, then they need 8 foreigner players, if not 7 at least, to compete. Enough. The question is not how many foreigners they need. They need competition to play besides the ACL2. And that is something, if you don't play, you're going to be rusty. That is going to be difficult for you. After Bengalis, Kerala are the most arrogant people I've ever met. The state is a communist hellhole, yet they think they are Singapore of India. I don't know, Zorawar. That's your opinion. But again, let's see. Saw it on Reddit. So yeah, nice. Again, and I think the boy himself posted it. I still don't know how a boy, a 17-year-old, is allowed to post it, because that is against a lot of regulations that you have in European football. So yeah, let's see what happens. Just 5 days when we play Tajikistan. So yeah, that's it. So we should be talking about that. India under 23s play Iraq tomorrow in a friendly in Malaysia. East Bengal women's play in the AFC Women's Champions League. There's a lot of football coming up in the next 2 days, but I think the coming week will be a little bit of football, but a lot of Supreme Court conversations. That's the reality. No amount of literacy will stop me from committing tax fraud. Okay, that's good for you. 1 hour, 8 minutes plus. Quick reminder, like, share, and subscribe arunfoot here on YouTube. Visit my other social medias, visit arunfoot.com. And as I always say, guys, 14 likes are fine. Thinking, I need your support. I need your backing. We need to do this together. Very, very important. Otherwise, things will not work. So therefore, as always, as I say, you need to be part of the family and be helpful, that we together can try and push things in the right direction. I think that's very, very important at this stage. Right. AIFF and the national men's team is in no position to demand respect from anybody involved. Mandar, they always, you can criticize them. You can criticize them for their gameplay, for whatever they've done on the field, but human decency says that you have to give them basic respect. Again, I always say that. And again, I say that to everyone. If I think you're not right, I will say that you're not right. But on the other side, I will also say, are you doing the things that are needed to be done? Right? So therefore, for me, that's very, very important. What time will this MMA meeting take place tomorrow? So sometime tomorrow afternoon, in the morning, I think the AIFF meeting the team. The AIFF even, I think, tonight even already meeting and discussing what the next steps can be. What is their potential proposal be? I'm really interested to figure out what comes out after that meeting, and then we'll see. Government supported hockey, then why can't football? It's a global sport. Raj, is a very good question, but the problem is it wasn't the government of India or Indian governments, state governments as a whole. It was mainly one state. We want to go back. It was mainly the support of the government of Odisha, which has helped hockey, right? So we have to be honest on that front that it's not everyone across the board, and that's the reality of things. So therefore, very, very, very interesting to see what happens there, and what the we need support on all fronts. And if we don't get the support we need, it's going to be very, very, very difficult, to say the least. So yeah, that's the reality. What happens if the result of the meeting is a statement as per expectations? So we'll have to wait and see, right? The question is what kind of proposal is going to be on the table from both the sides, and then we'll have to wait and see what happens, right? So for me, not sure what kind of discussion we will have tomorrow and where we go, how we go, because I think everybody is waiting for for what's going to happen, right? So therefore, I don't know, not sure yet. AIFF will surely try to delay it. Raj, that's the question which I don't know. The problem is for the AIFF is they have to present something to the Supreme Court on Thursday, not to get sort of a rap from the Supreme Court. So I'm not sure if they can just simply think, say, hey, listen, this was our proposal, this is our proposal, and we stick to our proposal. Not sure. To be honest, the hate against Bengalis are expected. What Bangladeshis are illegally entering is the same as Indians illegally entering. Indians are seeing Westerners zeal to resist against illegal immigration. Yeah, I don't know. I'm following that path. I think it's a different discussion actually, but yeah, maybe that is the effect. Yes, what they could have done with football instead of hockey. Raj, 100%. But I don't know if there's an interview somewhere in the past with Naveen Patnaik why he supported hockey of all sports. I don't know. Maybe he was fascinated. I've never heard or read anything, but I would suggest that would be my logic to say, listen, Mr. Patnaik was interested in the sport, and that's why he supported hockey in the way he did. And not to forget, he started supporting football also in the last few years, right? Odisha FC is in, or was in Bhubaneswar. We don't know if it's an is or a was. So therefore, we'll have to wait and see what happens next. We must remember it was strong administrators who turned around in cricket and not former cricketers. Very true. Truly, very, very true. The administrators, the right leader at the top, the right administrator below him, they will take forward sports in India. Not ex-athletes, people who say I will do it or not. Hi, very new to this AIFF versus FS tale, but I know what is the matter, what's actually going on in the case at the moment. Oh, okay, Mehul, if you know, that's good for you. Patnaik loved hockey. 100, again, that's a given. If somehow we send 20 football prodigies to academies, Lamasia do, and wait for 10 years, do we have strong team? Or at least of these 20 players. No, Surya, you can't send them to Lamasia. So the first problem is that actually players under the age of 18 cannot come to Europe to play in academies. And why would Lamasia take an Indian kid? Question. Even if we pay for it, these top clubs will not take it. Right? So therefore, It's a nice idea. And if you send 20 kids, most probably 19 will fail. Maybe one will be successful. You have to also remember the ratio at which success is possible at that level. You know, let's see. Bad for General Group. They took over Hyderabad FC on verge of shutdown, and now I said, yeah, Raj, it's crazy, insane to think, but BS General Group originally wanted an I-League team, didn't do that, waited, then last year got involved and got into Hyderabad FC. Now want to shift the team to Delhi, and now we don't know what is going to happen. I'm good, Vikram. How are you? Good to see you back. People often compare cricket and football, but in India, we have to do something good in sports. Recognize cricket done it with 83, but in football, we can't beat Afghanistan. What do we expect? Vikram, yes, but cricket, as you say, is a phenomenon of the last 42 years. Hockey and football were bigger, and hockey has been successful at international level. Hockey is even now successful, but it doesn't have that following, right? So therefore, there was something. Some sports in India have been taken forward by ex-athletes. For example, badminton has taken forward former players like Pullala Kapichan and Prakash Padukone. Yeah, but not on the field, off the field, right? Not as administrators, right? They're more as coaches. So coaches are important in that way. No? From government, they will help us if we do some good in football. That's strategy. Vikram, to reach that, we are going to do something good. You need the support of the government. That is where the disconnect is, in my opinion, right? That's the challenge that you have. And at this moment, yeah, very, very difficult to figure out what to do or not to do, right? It's a very difficult decision in that way of what's going to happen, what's not going to happen. So therefore, yeah, I don't know. Right, 1 hour 17 plus minutes on this Sunday evening, and what will be maybe a very, very important week for Indian football. Tomorrow, the AIFF and Reliance sit down to talk about the MRA. Thursday, we have the next hearing in the Supreme Court. Now we have today the I-League clubs coming in and talking about their position on things, and they want to get a hearing in the Supreme Court as well. So, yeah, it's interesting, but we will have to wait and see what happens next week. We need to seek attention of government to invest, but sadly we aren't able to. Raj, the right leader would do that. That's what my point is, right? Even we had under 17 World Cups, and the government poured in quite substantial money on infrastructure and training those teams, right? So let's see. I can understand about hockey that you need a lot of things to play. To each person needs her own hockey stick, unlike cricket. You just need one bat and a ball, but football is even easier. I think hockey is easier than cricket. Sorry to show you, to just, because in hockey you just need a stick, a little bit of safety gear here and there, but in cricket you need a lot of gear and a bat. So what do you think Forbes fate to emulate the badminton model for Indian football? The likes of Baichung Rani still couldn't produce players better than themselves despite running their own academies. Zorawar Baichung has never run an academy. Baichung Bhutia Football Schools has the name of Baichung Bhutia, but Baichung Bhutia isn't. Renedy has produced, on the other side, quite some good players. Classic Football Academy, quite a few players. He's won it twice. But the problem with Renedy was that he moved on, right? And I think that was something which hurt Classic Football Academy a lot. But again, Renedy had to find jobs to sustain himself and his family. So yeah, he's left the club. Still less interest in football, maybe because it needs more stamina and effort, unlike cricket, where you can, without dropping a sweat. Hey Blue, welcome back. Yes, I am somewhat fine, but not sure what to expect from the coming week. There's a lot that is happening, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. What about AFC Asian Cup in India? Raj, at the moment, we have, even if India thought about applying, the AFC would put us on the back burner and say, you know what, there are other markets which are easier to manage than India. India is a mess. We are a mess. And why would the AFC then say, oh, you know what, despite all the problems, but you know what, we want to do XYZ tournament in India. Not going to happen. So therefore, to me, that's a concern. That was a concern. That is a concern. And we need to set our house in order. We need to run football properly for a few years. Then we can think about organizing an AFC Asian Cup or other things as well. Maybe Youth FIFA World Cup. I don't know. Under 20 FIFA World Cup, yeah. Maybe men's or women's. All of that could be possible. But at the moment, I think we need to sort ourselves out. We need to sort our house out. And then, as said, we can then think about doing other things and moving forward in a hopefully proper way. That's also a reality. Heard I-League clubs wrote relegation issue to amicus. Why is this going to hear this play and other delay tactics? Blue, they've spoken about their status, right? So the problem is, if you look at it, they have their own set of problems, and yeah, they want to bring it into the mainstream. Someone asked Amay Ranawade to move abroad. He replied, he's working on it. Raj, what is he going to reply? No, I don't want to do it. I want to stay here. The Kolkata stars of the 70s, 90s have hardly given anything back to football. Most were never interested in updating their coaching skills. No serious talent has come out of Bengal in the last 10 years. Yeah, very true. Yeah. Very, very, very true. Truly, and you can add the 60s and 50s to it, even though they will say, oh, well, we did this, we did that. How much time is left before a FIFA ban for India? Zorawar, you can't generalize. It could be 4 days, 2 weeks, a month. Nobody knows. Is it true that Asian doesn't like India? No. Sorry, I don't know why you think that is the way. The code is doing every side quests except the main mission. Yeah, bro, that's the whole problem. Right? So the biggest problem is, the biggest problem at the moment is very simple, that how are we going to get a new AIFF to run our football? That is the whole question of this whole new constitution, right? To create a model under which we can run our football. Very simple, right? And that's not happening. That is failing. Because the court, by stopping the AIFF from doing its work, day-to-day work, have created subplots, like I said, FSDL, MRA, ISL, now I-League. Let's see. So, yeah, those are the realities, and we have to see what happens. But to me, yeah, everything is possible, right? So therefore, not sure if we're going to be, if we're moving actually in the right direction or not. So therefore, it will be very interesting to see or not. Nowadays, it turned into a content creator. Oh, interesting. With Supreme Court getting involved, FIFA ban is coming in weeks. Well, let's see. Let's see. Hey, Rishabh. Little late today. I was watching Man United game. Oh, Rishabh. One pain isn't enough. You are trying to inflict multiple pains on yourself. 1-1. I see. Just saw 1-1. Problem with the lawyers representing Indian realities of Indian. They don't know realities of Indian football. Raj, I would go further, that everyone discussing the matter of the AIFF in that room, does anybody understand football? Leave the Indian out. Do they understand football? Do they understand the governance and the running of the game? What are continental, local realities? AFC rejection of Kantiraj statement, so many humiliations. Blue, I am honestly not surprised because the way that I saw the Kantirava 2 years ago, it was literally falling apart and there was nothing being done by Sai or whoever. So that stadium has been falling apart for years. Very sadly, yes. Therefore, let's search for another stadium. Sorry, just let me quickly get something to drink. Sorry. Yeah, that's the reality. Has Premier League viewership in India dipped, or was it always the same? Geo Hotstar shows 4 to 7 lakh views on average for Premier League games, or these figures numbers don't provide full context. Rushabh, I don't think that European leagues have that many fans as we think they have. Be it the Premier League, La Liga, Bundesliga, XYZ. I think that even on a bad day, the ISL has more views than a Premier League game. Maybe even the I League sometimes will have. So therefore, those are the realities. In your opinion, which stadium is the most well maintained in India? But I haven't been to all recently, so therefore, I said the Kantinava would be most probably with Kochi amongst the worst. Best. I've never been there. I think the Kalinga would be a top stadium. Delhi is not well maintained. Mumbai Football Arena is well maintained. That's a small one, so I would it. Shillong looked good after the rebuild now. Yeah, they would be amongst the. If you ask me amongst the top, if you want to think about stadiums qualities of maintenance or not, so yeah, most probably Kalinga, Shillong, Mumbai Football Arena would be amongst the top at the moment. Right, 1 hour 28 minutes, which means 88 minutes of this live on a Sunday. It is 11:30 in India, so you're half an hour away from the Monday morning on which you will be able to listen to what happens and like, share, subscribe, hype my videos if you can, promote the channel if you can, amongst those who are football fans. If you're in WhatsApp groups who follow Indian football, do that as well. And as always, thank you for your support. I mean, without your support, this channel couldn't survive. So therefore, I need your support, guys, as always. In my opinion, with the rise of regional cricket leagues in India, the popularity of Indian leagues, European leagues is decreasing as well. I honestly don't know. It's going to be interesting to see also now with this whole betting ban fiasco. What kind of impact, because it is going to, what I've heard also, it's going to impact cricket massively. India bidding for 2036 Olympics will have dedicated football stadiums, league uncertainty. Raj, yeah, reality. At this point, Indian football is basically dying, bleeding from all front. Stadium problem, governance problem, performance problem, infighting everywhere. Yeah, Blue, you summed it up well. Exactly, Dada. If you consider Geo Hotstar views for comparison, ISL and Premier League as same viewership was just UCL games. People are more hyped for this. Wake up only at 1 a.m. Rishabh, yeah, certain teams, Champions League level, draw more, 100%. The SAFU 17 women's team has been performing impressively considering recent struggles in men forwards and encourage the youth side showing such tactical discipline consistency. Oh no, great. But all of this means nothing if they cannot qualify for the AFC U17 Women's Asian Cup. Mohammad Superjan should have released players for national team in 23. 100%. Zaza, I think so because I think it's from a exposure. I think from an exposure perspective, it would have been good for Mohun Bagan to have had their players playing, right? Matches, competitive. And yeah, but what to say, what to do. These are the realities of the day. Can the Mumbai Football Arena be expanded? It's a good stadium. Raj, expansion, it looks difficult to me because there is housing behind on one side. There is a canal, a stream on the other side. They should have tried to finish the one part at the back. I would have actually liked it to be a box stadium. I think that might be nicer. And maybe let's see what they do in the future. But yeah, it is the way it is. According to sources, BCCI is planning to make the IPL into a 6 to 7 month tournament like Premier League. Yeah, and that would be a problem for, I think, international cricket. Can't take this ban seriously unless Dream 11 or MPL is banned. Okay, aren't they? I thought the Dream 11 website here, at least here in Germany, I thought it was down. One second, let me just check again. Maybe it's back again in a different avatar. Yeah, here in Germany, at least it's down. Dream11.com doesn't exist at the moment here internationally. The Mohun Bagan AIFF issue, I didn't get why they started fighting suddenly, though I guess they don't need reasons to fight. Blue, I think the starting point was the AIFF releasing the name list of the players, right? Of the players who are not in the camp, who have been called up but haven't reported, both seniors and under 23s. And suddenly you saw, you suddenly had 11 players missing. So therefore, and then Mohun Bagan hit back, and then the Shubhashish Bose issue cropped up from Mohun Bagan's side. AIFF replied, and that's embarrassing. Out of context question, which ISL club jersey has impressed you, and also national team jersey? Raj, I would say, if you ask me in regard to impress, I would say last season's Mumbai City away. That off-white, I can show it to you. That is now, I got one thanks to my good old friend Jonathan at Mumbai City. He gave it to me, and to me, that is my all-time favorite jersey in the Indian Super League. I just love this jersey. Right? If you ask me, my favorite jersey in the Indian Super League is that. And if you ask me, national team jersey would be the old India jersey by Adidas. I don't even know if you know that, from 2004. That's my favorite. We'll support you, brother. You're a true Indian football fan without any bias. Thanks, Azhar. I try and I try to do my stuff also, what I can in the background to help. And hopefully that has some impact at the moment. Yeah, a lot of things happening. Let's see. So why doesn't Harris do anything for KFA? It's KSFA, woman, Karnataka State Football Association. Karnataka now being rejected. If it's start, I hope this opens his eyes and he does something. What is he going to do? It's a government stadium. It's a multi-sports venue, and it's a government stadium. What do you think, woman? What should he do? What can he do? Future of international cricket will be like football, with fewer national team matches and more league matches. Okay, interesting. Were official replica authentic jersey always this expensive, even in India? Yes, they were even costlier. I remember when Nike came in for 2006, 2,000 rupees for a jersey. Plus the loss against East Bengal, fan pressure on management may be a factor behind this unwillingness to these players. As according to reports, they want to perform well in EFC. Sorry. So, I've been hearing this, that Mohun Bagan wants to perform well at continent level for I don't know how many years. And they have to prove it. So, I don't know. To me, it would, as I said, I've said this on multiple times, for me, it would have been smarter If the Mohun Bagan players actually went to the national team and got some international exposure and got matches under their belt. AIFF is so irresponsible that they are placing statements for clubs to release players in the midst of a tournament which they let take place at the very point in time. And remember, their priorities are, to me, very clear that they didn't recognize this. And this is not the first time, right? I said it 2 years ago around the Asian Games. Watch my old videos from 2 years ago, Asian Games discussion. I really got angry a few times on this matter. So they've not learned their lessons. But for the clubs, yeah, do they care about Indian football? No, they don't. Mehtak Singh ke sign Korenilam, Joy Mohun Bagan, defense out of strong Korenilam. Ruin, what's the value? Honestly, if that's your problem at this moment in time with everything that's going on, again, smart move from Mumbai City to sell the player because we don't have a league at the moment, right? This has to be understood, and this is something which I don't know. I think someone needs to go with a megaphone through Kolkata and explain to people what the situation of Indian football is at the moment. There is no league. They should have at least a bit of common sense. Angry Birds, you're expecting too much. Hi, Kohli. I am doing fine. DTG ban loading. Yes, possible. If you ask me at this moment in time, as we speak, as we talk, Thursday will be important. Thursday could be a very decisive day into deciding which way all of this could go, right? So therefore, for me, it's a very difficult decision. Good night, Zorawar. As always, good to see you. Do you think any agreements with FSDL, AIFF can happen at this moment? I think FSDL would not want to make a deal with an AIFF. That should be gone soon. Blue, the question is, how does the Supreme Court thing factor in? And what kind of deal can these two sides work out? Do you mean AIFF was not expecting CAF Nations Cup in any situation? DTG, forget expecting or not expecting. Why do I have a hold of 1 month Duran Cup? Get it done in 15 days. By Mehta versus Malaysia, oh my God, I forgot it anytime soon. I won't forget it anytime soon. It was disastrous, says Angry Birds. স্যার আপনি কলকাতায় দুর্গা পূজা আসবেন তো আপনাকে অনেক পূজা ভালোবাসা রইল Thanks, Rohin. No, I will not be coming to Pujo because I organize one of the biggest pujos over here in Cologne. So I'm the president of that pujo. So I have not been to Durga Pujo in Kolkata, I think, since 1999. Mumbai City FC sells its own jersey inside the stadium for like 2,000 rupees, which got me thinking, what do they actually cost to make? I assumed if they made jersey in India, it would be cheaper, but I was wrong. No, it actually, even with transport and other things, I think it's cheaper to make in Southeast Asia than India, but I don't know what at the moment the cost of making a jersey is. Is Mehtab really a national team player? I don't think so. He made a lot of blunders in past national team matches, which cost us. Raj, yes, I think he is, because tell me who are better than him. We don't have too many options. So Mehtab surely is number 4 or number 5 in the pecking order. Tell about Mehtab transfer. While left Mumbai, I see enjoy more super giant. He was regular player, most super giant. Maybe he remained backup because of Alberto and Tom. Kohli, because it looks like at this moment in time, the I-League looks difficult. And Mumbai City FC for themselves think it is a wise move to allow the player to move and generate some money. Is it possible for the clubs or the stakeholders to raise this issue at CAS? No. There is no issue at CAS for the clubs. What is the issue at CAS? If everything turns out to be positive, If everything turns out to be positive, I'm expecting a max 1 year extension in the deal. Angry Birds 1 year extension is not going to work. 1 year extension works for no sides. That AIFF is not giving any money to AIFF. Let's see Angry Birds. Teams like Bangalore have seen officially stopped their ISL practice, so it's a smart move. They're thinking ISL won't happen. During 8, 9, 10 teams are not training at the moment. Right? Won't Bangladesh be cheapest option to get jersey? They're pretty cheap. They don't produce jerseys per se, right? So I don't know if yeah. Yeah, I don't. Southeast Asia is where or China, you produce jerseys. I don't see jerseys being produced in Bangladesh. Rushabh says, live update. Even though my fitness is awful, my coach says I'm still playing better than the 17, 18-year-old kids, and I look like an experienced player. Funnily enough, I'm playing 11 aside after almost 4 or 5 years. Good, Rushabh, good to hear. Congratulations. Very, very good to hear. That is the spirit. That's what you need to do. I need to get through it. How money I get from Meta transfer? Kohli, there is no official figure in the room, but it will be a substantial transfer fee of, I would say, 1+ crore. At CAS regarding uncertainty of the Constitution League, etc. Yeah, but DTTG, that's not a CAS issue. Who will take whom to CAS? AIFF, we want to take the Supreme Court to CAS. Oh, then I guess they're just clothes. That's what jerseys are not normal clothes, right? They're specific clothes. So therefore, I think, I don't know. I'm not sure if these jerseys are actually made where they're made. So I'm just checking the Mumbai City one actually. Where is it written in this clothing? Where is it made? Okay, interesting. Or did I get I think I got a special match one. No, sorry, this says made. So the Mumbai City Puma jersey is made in India. Okay, so that I know now. Angry Birds is because the FSC seems to not be on the same page with the current AIFF regime. They might consider it with the new one about the future of the league. Angry Birds, they have to now come up with something. Let's see. I know, just came home. Don't understand why Mumbai City gives Mehtab away. Thought he's one of the important Indian players to stick to your view. Roshan, we don't have a league. And if Mohun is offering you that much money, if you don't know if your league was happening, Mumbai City would have extended 100% at the moment, and therefore it makes no sense to keep him. If 1 crore plus get him from it, then it's a good deal for Mumbai City. Yes, Kohli it is. Hey Siddharth, welcome. Man United performance analysis today. Siddharth, I don't watch Premier League that much. Maybe I watch highlights, but I was doing a live during that game, so didn't really watch it, to be honest. I did some research, and apparently even if these big threes make jerseys in India, they still cost the same as there's something called RRP because of its price are the same all over the world. They are not. So a jersey in Europe costs more than in India, for sure, if I'm taking international clubs, international teams. National transfers are not allowed for European players. Yes, Angry Birds. That's another point. Does FIFA have enough grounds to ban us? Yes, though they have. When is holding press conference regarding squad, etc. Supposedly tomorrow morning at some stage, right? They're meeting the team and then they're going to do a press conference after that, from what I've heard. Tell us about Duran Cup. I don't watch that much last season. Well, I didn't watch the Duran Cup. It's just that Northeast United in the end beat Darwin Harbour FC 6-1 and won it. Cut them. That's as much as I know and as much as I need to know, right? All right, 1 hour 45 minutes. Another quick reminder, if you like what you're hearing, please leave a like behind, share with others. 20 likes so far, and of course subscribe to the channel. That is my request so that we keep on growing the community here at arunfoot. And thanks to all of you who are supporting so that we can become bigger and bigger. I want to understand a franchise and a proper club difference. Raj, there is none. De facto, it's the same. It's just that the franchise, you will say that a franchise is corporate owned, right? So you could call it a corporate owned club. Same news on CAFA Nations Cup telecast in, by the way, I said an AIFF wishes fans forgot it. No, so that nothing. I didn't watch any matches. Kohli, I didn't watch any matches of the Duran Cup. So Ishan, Hawari news is fake, right? According to me, that again, Everton under 17 doesn't per se exist. Everton has an under 18, under 16. Everton, so he has to be an Everton academy graduate or an academy trainee. I've not seen anything in England so far. And if Everton is signing an Indian player, I guess they would make a little bit of noise about it, right? So I don't know if it's true or not, except if the boy suddenly doesn't have an Indian passport and suddenly has, I don't know, a Canadian passport or something of the sort. Any hope for a deal between FS and AIFF so that Arsenal happens? Roshan, no idea. I hope FSL stays, as I've said multiple times, but I'm not sure what will come out of this. Will Mohun Bagan release players in FIFA window and will the players can join then, or will they just stay at club at the moment? Mohun Bagan will release the players on the 30th of August, and then let's see what the AIFF does. Do they ask them to come to Tajikistan to join the team or not? You know, EPL jersey costs around $120. Yeah, that makes sense. Recently, the Knight Bangalore FC third kit jersey from Pooja in 865. Okay, so that's a good price. I would say very good price. That's the price of the BFC jersey. Puma says India Club jersey has recent price. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. That's something which is there. Right. Slowly I'll come to an end. Actually, the boy himself. And that's Angry Birds, that's the problem. To me, that's the problem. And then social media, amplifies the thing. And my thing is like, okay, it could be possible. Again, but my question is what passport do you then hold? Do you have an American passport? Do you have a Canadian passport? Because in an Indian passport, you can't sign as an under 18 player. Good chances they were getting banned soon. Kundan, let's see. Any reason as per you why AIFF don't surrender I-League to FSL? DDTG, FSL doesn't want the I-League. So why would they surrender it? What arguments does Mohun Bagan have currently as not give players? Roshan, very simply, we're outside of the FIFA window. Done, khatam. The base jerseys cost around 80 euros, right? If we convert to it, it's almost the same 80 just for base jersey. A base jersey nowadays costs about 100, 120 euros, depending on club. The cheapest ones are about 85, but most clubs about 100, 110. So we're talking about 10, 11,000 rupees for a jersey. So Indian jerseys are much cheaper. His ISL was offered to I-League before making ISL franchise. ISL wasn't there. I-League was supposed to be turned into a Pro League. They didn't want it. Did I think these parties will come up with an amicable solution on 28th? I have no clue. Right? That's the problem. So let's wait and see. People reporting Delhi FC player going to second division Slovenia. I'm waiting for the club to announce. Roshan, let's wait and see. It might be a Nile Goa Wale case. The Nile case, Angry Birds, is very simple. Nile is a Canadian passport holder, so he can sign at that age in an English academy. He's now even playing for Canada juniors. So yes, that's what I'm saying. If that boy has an American or an English, an American or a Canadian, maybe even has UK citizenship. Yeah. So let's see. By the way, why the amicus so anti-FSL? Because he is the friend of a certain person that you, I, and we all have a lot of regards for. Right, and just seeing the lights are going off. So I'm slowly going to end for tonight, guys. 1 hour, 50 minutes. Tomorrow's going to be an important day. So I'll be surely doing a live. Let's see what comes out of it. I am not expecting much, but as always, we're keeping fingers crossed, and then let's see what happens. And Rishabh says we're basically AIFF, and somehow I'm calm right now watching the downfall of Indian football and Man United. Yeah, that's the reality. Let's say the new arrangement happens, AIFF doesn't get the 50 crore anymore. What would be the revenue generation source for the AIFF? So there needs to be some sort of financial, solution to this, and I don't know what it is. If AIFF still backs it, how long before AIFF finds another scapegoat? Because then they don't have a scapegoat. Good night, Rushabh. Why important? Because tomorrow AIFF and Reliance are meeting. Let's see if they find a solution, and we will see which countries past Europe are allowed to sign U17. Europe, US, Canada, and I think Australia. Right, guys. With that, I'll end it for tonight. Let's wait what happens tomorrow. Once more, reminder, like, share, and subscribe. Spread it to other people. Let's keep on growing the community. Slowly, we're heading towards the 3,000 mark. I need your help. I need your support. And I'll be back tomorrow night with another live. And then hopefully we'll have something more to discuss. And maybe we have something to discuss tomorrow. Good night.